We're live. Come on in. I hope you've had a great day. If you're watching live, I hope you're uh, having a great day if you are watching this later. So the title tonight is Don't Ever Retire. Don't ever retire. Oh dear, Bob, are you serious? Are you serious? I hate my job. All right. Why do you hate your job? This talk is kind of feeds off of the last video, and that last video was about the importance of mission and vision. And I covered it in terms of organizations and, companies, organizations, that type of thing. And I want to bring this back and emphasize the importance of it on an individual level. And, I, I think I've shared with you, this is my 11th YouTube live. So, there's a fine art of writing headlines and titles, and I'm drawing a blank on what the term is right now for the ones that are just clickbait. Yeah. So I don't ever want to be accused of doing clickbait titles. But the reason that I wanted to lead with "Don't ever retire" is because people who have a sense of mission and more than anything, a sense of mission, which is a manifestation of purpose, live for the most part a long time, are healthier. Look at Warren Buffett. He's 90 something years old. Look at Betty White. She's 99 years old. Those are extreme examples, but you will live a longer, happier life if you have a sense of mission. And, mission is not something that you just figure out when you're 5 and it's locked into place. I know we've talked about that. There are a lot of things that will strike you starting around age 5, that you don't necessarily have the wherewithal to put together. But when you look back and start looking at what interested you, what drove you, what motivated you, those start to arrive somewhere around 5. So I want to simplify this by virtue of just sharing with you the importance of it. And there's nothing fancy about this. In fact, the real reason to have a mission is that you heighten your prospects of sticking with something, of having the grit and determination to just keep moving when the going gets tough. So I want to make a distinction, because a lot of times when people hear "don't retire," they think I'm saying don't ever start working full time or stop working full time. They think that's what the conversation is about. And that's not how I mean it. So I'm going to use the term I use the term retire in the way that like financial instruments get used. And I don't know why I even shared that, because that's not going to help a lot of people. I'll just give you the definition. It's to withdraw from circulation or from the market. Withdraw from circulation or from the market. So you can see that many people, it's one thing to quit an existing job, and we only call it retirement if it happens at a certain age. If it doesn't have, we have all kinds of other words for it when it happens at other points in life. So the term retirement often means just leaving the job. I'm aged out. I'm not working anymore. And what I want to say is, don't withdraw from circulation. Don't withdraw from the market. What do I mean by those two things? Circulation, I think most people, that's staying in touch. That's friends. I maintain that it's active hobbies. I maintain that it is equally important that it could be a part-time or full-time job that is at a pace that you can sustain, that's not wearing you out, but that's fulfilling you. Excuse me. And from the market so there's the general circulation, and then there's also the market. And the market that I'm referring to is the one for your mission. And so you want to stay in touch with that market. You don't ever want to completely withdraw from it. I've had plenty of clients I've worked with where, like, oh boy, Sorry, I just had kind of a rush of a number of people with whom I've worked, and this fits. This is the scenario they had. So I started working with them when they were heads of organizations, and they started seeing that retirement was around the corner. And we went through the work of redefining their mission. And what you start seeing is when you really have nailed down your mission, you can it's easier to see where you can just transfer it to different places, different domains. And you can adjust the way you do it. So you see corporate executives become independent consultants. You see, teachers become tutors. You see teachers switch over to just being like, occasional substitute teachers. Um, and so it's that whole thing of remaining flexible. But when you have that clear sense of what your mission is, you have an ability to move about and to make those adjustments much more quickly and much more easily. So this isn't pie in the sky. This isn't the grant, and I guess so you probably don't have the same. I hate to admit it, but like even cynicism I have about vision and mission statements, because a lot of times they just get so grandiose, and they're all about being a god of the universe and all that stuff. And 99% of people aren't looking for that. And so they sometimes get turned off by it. So this is not about what makes you feel good, because drinking can make you feel good, partying, just about anything, anything that'll make you feel good today, but it'll make you wake up tomorrow feeling worse. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about what will make you feel good about yourself, what will make you feel genuinely proud about the contribution you've made or are making, and the differences that you're making. So again, this is about having those reasons to be gritty, to keep moving ahead, and to have fulfillment in your life. One of the this is slightly tangential, but I think it's important. So one of the things that doctors do with cancer patients, with people with not just cancer, but with life-threatening diseases, is more than ever there is a branch or a part of the medical services that work with the mental game, just like the same mental toughness that athletes work on, or executives, whatever. And a lot of it has to do with mission. And, the really simple one is that if someone is ill and it's life threatening, get them focused on staying alive for their kids. If they're young and they don't have kids, it's staying alive for the bright future they have. If it's, the kids are out, but there are grandkids coming, whatever, it's those very, very essential human aspects. It's not about, hey, stay alive so you can make another $1 million. But it's about like, what are the most fundamental missions in life, and then or starting there and then growing from there. And so I would submit to you that those are also good missions to have as a healthy person, but they're also, because you can't be, well, if you're doing the child care for the child, you could be, but anyway, for the most part, it's not a full-time thing to be a doting grandparent. It is a full-time thing to be a great parent. But at any rate, that whole thing of continuing to look out for those things that, that sustain you, enliven you, and give you a sense of mission. So I want to talk a little bit too about mission and some of the hazards. So like one of the biggest hazards is, okay, so hazard number one is, I'm not sure if it's technically a hazard, but it's problematic, is the inability to hone in on a mission. And the way to, especially if you're a young person, it doesn't matter what age, but especially if you're a young person, look at your years, say between 18 and 28, to try and to be open to failing as many times as humanly possible, because it's in that trial and error repeat cycle that you will gain confidence. If you keep going, if you quit, you'll destroy your confidence. But if you keep going and you keep trying different things, and you basically make your mission to find a mission, you will you will be laying a foundation that will serve you for the rest of your life. It'll be a foundation, not in this day and age, not a lot of people do this. We are raised, I'm gonna go on my soapbox right now, but we're raising generations whose mission is to go to college. Somehow as a society, we decide everyone should go to college. I think about 20% of the people should go to college. I think the rest of us have no business. I'm not sure I ever should go to college, but that's neither here nor there. Um, so, people think, well, I know my mission is to go to college. Well, what happens when they get out of college? Holy cow, I have no mission. I am lost. And I see this over and over again these days. It's brutal. And especially people who have gone into debt, who have gotten, have taken on majors that have little economic value, additive value. They're not going to increase your earnings from minimum wage to $30 an hour. That's very problematic. So having a mindset of, I'm going to use college as a tool, not as my mission, and having a mindset that I am going to try everything I can for the 10 years between 18 and 28, which at 18 sounds like a lifetime, but let me assure you, it's not. It's just the time to lay a good foundation for the rest of your life. So number one, making it a mission to find your mission. One of the hazards or things is to not have that commitment and to end up without a sense of mission. Another hazard is the hazard of living for someone else's mission. And I see that in two ways. One of the ways that I see it quite painfully in some of the consulting, I was going to say gigs, but engagements that I have, is working with family businesses. And one of my, I don't know if it's a truism or a maxism, an aphorism, it's something of an ism. And it's if you want your child to be totally miserable their entire life, leave her a profitable business for which she has no interest nor aptitude. She will love the money and hate the business. And I wish I hadn't had as many experiences with that as I had in working with family businesses. So, every once in a while, you've got the second or third generation that is just right for the business. But more times than not, mom and dad, whomever started the business, I'm starting this for the family. This is going to live on. Well, with all of the best intentions, they have potentially imposed a mission statement on their child that may be a terrible fit. So that's one danger. Another thing I want to talk about is, and I just realized I'm going a little long, but I do want to talk about this. Part of this because I just watched a 2-part document. I guess it's a documentary. I'm not sure I'm willing to call it a documentary. 2-part show on HBO profiling Tiger Woods, and I'm cynical about that because they went into some salacious areas that I don't know. It just dipped into some things that I'm not wild about. That I don't think is fair to his family to have brought up again. But what I do want to share is that I consider Tiger Woods and coincidentally Michael Jackson to be two prototypes for the price to be paid for submitting to someone else's vision for you. And the reason I put them together is that they share some common elements. Michael Jackson and Tiger Woods both had very dominant fathers. They had the fathers, not only were they dominant, they had clear visions for their sons. And even more painfully, those visions were of them being transformative figures impacting the entire world. So, yeah, just put a little pressure on your kid. The other side of it is, and this is just my opinion from having observed both of them. I've never met either one of them in person. This is purely my opinion, and I am more than happy to receive information that I'm off base. But I believe that both of them are Michael was, Tiger is. First of all, they're both introverts, and so introverts get drained by large interactions with large groups. It's not that introverts don't like people; it's that it's just very draining for them. So, Tiger and Michael Jackson, both in businesses that are all about being the center of attention on stage, and me knowing or believing that their batteries aren't getting charged when they're doing that. They're getting drained. So very draining on them. Both very sensitive guys. Michael was in the business of being an artist. Um, I wouldn't be shocked if it turned out that Tiger has an artistic bent that may or may not have ever been allowed to flourish. And if I were talking to Tiger right now, I'd be inquiring about that, and I would be challenging him to explore it, especially for his post-career life. Um, so what you see is that, and the reason I bring them up is they both had terrible undoings. They both fell apart when the dominant dad passed away. Tiger had a second, I'll call it undoing, when he hurt his back so badly that that he was basically an invalid and couldn't play golf. And so they both had these meltdowns that, this is my hypothesis, this is my opinion. There's always more than one cause, but it's not an accident that these circumstances under which they were living in this intense spotlight in performative jobs that were not in their wheelhouse, were contributing to those meltdowns. And we'll never know, but for Tiger, it would be interesting. I think in terms that it could be that he never would have been a professional golfer had his dad not started him playing when he was 2. That's neither here nor there. The only point for bringing them up is that, unfortunately, I think that they both were people who were living to fulfill the mission that their fathers had imposed on them. And that never works out well. Never. And so, okay. So, there's some of the downside. It's exhausting. It can literally kill you. It can shorten your life. If you don't feel like you have a mission, then your first mission is to make your mission to find a mission. Make your mission to find a mission. And you do that by exploring, by trying tons of things, and by expanding your experiential envelope. You don't do it by retiring, by withdrawing from the marketplace, by withdrawing from your networks. You keep trying new things. So to wrap this up, I want to, and you might think this is silly, but I just want to emphasize having a good, solid mission statement. It's about what energizes you. What can you do for other people better than they can do for themselves? And it doesn't have to do anything for anybody. Your mission statement only has to energize you. So your mission statement could be that you're going to be the best drywall installer in the Tri-City area. Your mission statement could be that you're going to raise 3 self-sufficient, responsible kids. And again, well, I'm not going to go into that, but we have multiple mission statements, but so I'm giving a sampling. But you could even say, I'm going to be a full-time mom or a full-time dad for the first, 12, 15, 18 years of my children's lives. That's my mission. And you know what? When my kids are 12, I'll start looking for what my next mission is. But right now, that's my mission. We had a young man join us last week who's part of a group whose mission is to get kids on the bikes. What's the mission of comedians? It's to make people laugh. Well, some of them it's to do therapy on stage, but anyway, it's to make people laugh. Another great mission: be the best 5th grade teacher at Martin Luther King Junior High School. Make that mission what's meaningful to you. And I'm going to close with this very quick story. I counseled a client's son a few years ago who uh, who knew what he wanted to do, but felt like it wasn't enough. And after we had gone through the process and we had worked for a couple of months, one day, he finally admitted to me his deep, dark secret of what he wanted his mission to be. And it's one that he had had for probably 10 years. And you know what that dirty little secret was? He wanted to be a chiropractor. He wanted to be a chiropractor. And the cool thing is, today he is. He is a chiropractor. And so find that mission. It will sustain you for your entire life, and it will make life so much more fun, so much sweeter. All right. I'll see you next time. Take care.